So this is one of the few times I actually get off of the property, out of the grove, and sort of a busman's holiday over here at family member's home to trim a mango tree. Now this tree started off being the lemon meringue or Popucale, and about 2 years ago I grafted another variety, Glen, onto it. But this particular tree, the way it's situated here, without a lot of distracting other trees around, you can tell how much it's growing toward the sun. You know, the sun is always strongest on the south side, and this tree is definitely going south, literally. And so we need to balance this tree out and just shape it, take a lot of wood out where we can, and then it'll be much better, appropriately sized tree and more attractive tree for the future. So let's get going on that. So one of the things I'm looking for is where I originally grafted this tree. I think it was right here. We certainly don't want to cut below the graft. But it could be right up here, because that looks like a little remnant of some buddy tape. So anyway, what I try and do anyway is you leave a few leaves on. And we've got some branches here, which is even better than leaving leaves on. So I think I'll just cut right here below this branch, so we still leave this branch, the major part of this branch intact and active. Okay, so you can see that some of this remaining stuff is pretty darn leggy, so I will come back a little bit later and trim that back also. Here's the graft down here, so I'm looking for places above it to cut. We got a side shoot over here, and I think that I'll cut above that. I can always come back and cut another time, but I would like a branch to come out of here. So I'm gonna, there's a little bud right above this leaf that will make a branch, hopefully. And it would be shooting out in this direction, which would be lovely because everything else is growing that way. So I'll take the weight off this branch first, make a cut. I don't think I can hold it very well like I did the last branch. This one's a little taller. So get that one out of the way. And then I'm going to come in a little bit above here, make sure it has plenty of room to heal, and then to send out a new branch. Okay. So here's the graft right here on this one. You can sort of see a V in that bark, a little change in the bark dimension or pattern. And this is really a much easier branch to cut. It's all within reach. Get this with. Now, this is something that I try and prune below. You see all these leaves are coming out in the same area. There's just lots of buds right there. I don't want branches coming out in the same plane. I want them staggered. So I will cut to like this, go for this bud and this bud. They're slightly staggered, but a 1/4 inch at least above the top of that leaf stem. So that I think will be a good cut. Here's another situation right here. It's that ring of all the buds. Want to go below that. This looks like a nice place to 1, 2, 3. That would probably be a good situation for future branching. And we can come over here, do the same sort of thing. What do we have here? Oh yeah, This is where I forgot to take some grafting tape off. It's evened out nicely. That was really deformed a year ago, and it's grown through a lot of that. It was getting strangled by the grafting tape. So that's where the graft is. So it'll be easy to tell for another year or so. So this one I'll have to get the ladder to trim that. This particular branch, I don't see a graft on it, so this might be the lemon meringue or poppy clay. It certainly looks like the leaf more than the Glen leaf. Moving right along. Try to encourage some branching there. So I'm looking for any sign of graft here, because this is a lovely branch. Well, you know, it's got a nice central location at its base. I don't think I had a graft on this. I don't see any evidence of it. So I'm going to cut it back perhaps to this shoot here and graft again onto it, because we've got a lot of nice varieties to add to this tree. So first thing I'll do is take the weight off of the branch so I can get a nice cut. And then see where I am here. And just okay. A little bit closer than I wanted it to be, but oh well. Yeah, so let's see if this one has any evidence of grafting. It's sort of hard to tell. It's gone straight up, so really whether it's grafted or not, I think it should be cut way back, and so that it doesn't dominate the tree quite so much. This is a situation where the owner doesn't want to have a huge tree. So in order to have other varieties on it, you have to start out fairly low in the tree. There we go. So this doesn't say bigger to me. It's I think I'll just cut all the way down and go to a brand new shoot that forms there. Let's see if we can get a good angle here. Okay, so we're almost done with the saw. This is graft that took. So we will save this branch here that's coming out and find there's a leaf there that would form some branches there, so I'll just cut right above that. Okay, so we'll get the ladder out, see what we can do this way. Glen tends to send out sort of long branches, so it's nice to trim them back and force more compact branching. So I'll just trim this. Get a bunch of branches here instead of here. Further, so you can have them all at the same level. doesn't look right. But you see how branches form if left to their own devices. You know, this is one of those places like right down here where there's a growth ring, except for this one decided to send out all these branches instead of, you know, just a few. So we have, let's see, 8 branches coming out of this one point. And when you have that, they cannot form what's called a collar very well. And so as part of the way that they can be strong attachments to the branch, and so a wind can come along and just rip these off real easily because they don't have much of an anchor. So anyway, that's a good reason to cut below those growth rings so you don't have a bunch of branches in the same spot. So ideally 2 or 3 branches out of the same general area is what you want. Got to relocate the ladder a little bit. This branch is just sort of lost. It's coming from the center of the tree, so I'll just give it a chance to get its grain back and start growing the right way. It's heading toward the sun. It can head up toward that sun there instead. This one also. And here's a situation where this branch is actually, when it gets heavy with fruit, would actually lean on this other branch. You don't really want crossing branches, so I will cut it back below that point. To be sort of the limits of this pruner. Get the saw out for anything bigger than this. Boom, there we go. Okay, so we have more of this one here. I think I'm going to use the saw for this one. I'm feeling a little bit wimpy at the moment. So this one, it's a different growth habit, so most likely the pokey play. Got a little sawdust in my throat. Down it goes. Okay, so back up slightly here. This is that high blend graft that is getting more and more normal looking as time passes. But even though this is high, I still would like to leave it, so that requires drastic measures. There's a leaf bud here, so, or actually a leaf with a leaf bud. So I'll hope that that sprouts out, but I'll take this one above it off. This is a little branch, so that's good. I'll keep that active. And I think I'm going to be drastic on this other side and cut this back to here. It should sprout out in a few places around that cut, helping that cut heal, and we'll still have this as blend. But take the weight off first. I really don't want to have the cut be messed up. Sometimes the weight of the branch can just start breaking and strip the bark on the one side. So much better to cut twice on this instead of having to deal with the consequences of stripped bark. Okay, nice clean cut. And I'll take these handy dandy pruners to prune these. And this one little one back here too, which is the variety that is not as favored. Okay, so this part was grafted. This part is not. This is the original tree. And so since it's the original tree, I'm going to cut back down to here. But again, what I'll do is take the weight off of the branch and then make the final cut so it can be a nice pretty one. So, you saw that I cut from this side, and that was so it wouldn't strip with the weight of the branch, and so it's a fairly clean cut there, but this will be a much nicer one. Okay. So all of these little branches here are the original variety, which is lemon meringue, and not a favorite for the owner of this home. So I'm going to just trim all of them off at at the base of each branch. And in a few months, probably 2 months is my guess, there'll be new shoots forming out of there, and they'll be perfect to graft other varieties onto. So it looks like a pretty drastic job, but last year was a very busy year, so this didn't get done last year, so we're playing catch up. Back a little bit further. One stabbing. Sort of a weird situation, two branches fused together here, so I could probably, so I'm just going to cut through them both. I don't think there's any reason to treat them like two separate branches once they fuse together. Okay, in the home stretch. Off a few of these small little branches so that they branch out. This one's crossing into the middle of the plant, so I'll try to keep branches from crossing over the middle, sort of the no-fly zone. One's drooping down from must have had a fruit on it this year. We don't need it drooping. Got some of these long branches that are just shooting up without forming little other branches out. And so now we just have this one cluster pretty much to deal with. Well, let me get this one more. It's driving me right there. So all of this is varieties that are not, or is the variety that is not preferred by the homeowner. This tree does need to keep active. So my plan for this, there's quite a few little branches and leaves coming out of here, is I'm just going to leave it for now. And after the rest of the tree starts shooting out new leaves and branches, I'll come back and cut this. I'll probably cut it all the way down back to here. And then when the new shoots form from here, I will graft onto those. Because, you know, if I, for instance, grafted on to a branch out here, it would only have like a 2 feet of growth before it would be too big for the tree. You know, you'd want to keep trimming the tree. You know, you don't want this, the homeowner doesn't want it any larger than, you know, about 2 feet wider than it is now. So you want to, when you're grafting new varieties on, you want to have them as central to the tree as possible so that they will have the greatest opportunity, greatest impact for each graft that you put on the tree. So anyway, I'm going to just grab the ladder, get one more branch over on the other side, and we will be done for the day. Okay, so I ran into one on the way. The tree is never totally done. So I see a little leaf scar right here with the little leaf bud. So even though the leaf itself isn't there, I'm cutting above it so that we get a branch going out this direction and not everything going over south. So you hardly can tell it's been pruned, but anyway, that was the best thing to do for this particular tree at this moment. So we'll come back, I'm sure, and visit this tree again and see how it's doing. But for now, it's a much more balanced tree, and we'll have a lot more compact growth because of taking out some of the long shoots and the lanky branches. So that's it for today. So this is a great time of year to prune your mango tree. This tree needed a little more pruning than it normally would. It's of course ideal to do it every year, but sometimes you just can't do it every year. So this, it took about 20 minutes to trim this tree. We got it more balanced because there's a lot of growth to the south side, and it should send out a lot of new branches and have time to recover before winter. So hopefully we'll have a good crop of mangoes on it next year.